Hello and welcome to Ketrick Builds. We're back with another episode of Icarus, and we're picking up a little ways after we left off here. I have been working hard on gathering materials for finishing up this survey quest. I thought it was going to be really easy. All we needed to do was build this here encrypted satellite communicator. Well, I didn't actually take a look at the material list before I said, yeah, this will be easy, no problem. Man, we needed a ton of these platinum sheaths and the titanium plates. These titanium plates require 3 bars of titanium for each plate. It's insane. And you can see that we've gathered that, and I'll talk a little bit more about our trips to the Arctic in a second. But the last piece that we need here that's huge is these composites. We need 30 composites, which is a tier 4 material that we could only make by building the material processor, which once again needed not only a few of these titanium plates, so lots of titanium has been mined over the last few days off camera, but we're going to require power, and we needed 60 electronics. Oh my goodness, so many electronics were made. And we have one of these material processors now, which is great. That's over here. You'll notice we've got power, which I'll talk about in a second as well. And that's what we've been using to make this composite paste. There's a couple of recipes here. I've been not using the platinum ore because platinum is not a renewable resource as far as I know, where gold, technically we can find a gold deep mining node and continue to get that. I guess all ores are technically able to be refreshed with the thumper. We haven't gotten that far in our tech tree, but we're getting close. With all of this titanium we've had to mine, we could have built quite a bit of really cool endgame equipment here, but we're trying to just get this quest done, get that satellite up and running. So this is what we've been focused on. This thing is awesome, but we needed power. Well, conveniently, the day that I recorded, or the day that I sat down to start collecting these resources, the last patch for Icarus, or the latest patch for Icarus, has come out here. And I'm keeping an eye on whatever this is. We've had some things attacking our base. The wind power has been added to the game, which is really cool. So we've got a couple of these wind turbines here that we've unlocked now, and that's powering that single thing inside. If we take a quick look at the tier 4 power, you can see wind comes in here on the lower end of the power spectrum. It's only 1750 power that it's creating, but it's relatively easy and cheap to make, requiring aluminum and a little bit of electronics and some other resources. The only thing that'd probably be easier to make is this water wheel, but we're not in a convenient spot for that. Solar is really expensive, requiring both composites and lots more electronics. And then biofuel is nice, but it just requires so much management. I hate having to keep refueling things, even though a fuel tank will last for a while. So we've been enjoying our wind power here. I'm just checking out these creatures that are trying to run under our building here. While all that's been going on, we have worked on starting to expand the base, and I've realized that this is a Drac spawning area right here. So we've got our base in a very inconvenient spot. Unfortunately, we keep getting attacked by these things all the time. But we have managed to pick up not 1, but 2 Mobies. So we've got Moby 3 and Moby 4. We did lose a Moby on our adventures. And then we've also got a buffalo. So this is our first Buffy of the series. And what I've loved about having the buffaloes, look at all these nice spots compared to the other mounts. It is a little bit slower, but it's going to get us a lot more hauling. We've been doing a fair amount of mining, so that's worked out really well for us. And so with all of those quick updates out of the way, I guess the last thing I would show off is you can see we're starting to expand the base out this way. The idea being once I've finished constructing all of these parts, we can seal this off and have another wing to the house, and then I'll have to move the animals somewhere else. With all the random things attacking us, though, we are going to have to start thinking about enclosing our base, getting a wall, a perimeter of some kind set up. Or possibly, I saw an item in here that will deter animals from coming into your base somewhere. It's here called an Advanced Creature Deterrent. And it creates a zone of protection, reducing the likelihood of creatures within its large radius, and it requires biofuel. I don't know if there's an electric version of that somewhere. That would be the ideal thing. Oh, powered right here. This is the one that I unlocked. And that also required composites. So I was like, well, let's get things working. We'll get the power grid up and running a little bit better here and do all of that stuff. But let's get the satellite done first. Let's get this quest off of our HUD. Now, I know somebody did remind me I can turn that off with pushing 7 on my numpad, which has been really handy. So we're going to go ahead and clean up our inventory real quick, and we're going to head back on out to the Arctic biome. We need just a little bit more titanium, I believe, to get all of this running. We can't finish making the composites we need without an electric furnace. And the electric furnace right now is, oh no, we have the stuff for an electric furnace. It's the power grid that we need, and we needed some more titanium for, I wanted to make a better gun and such. And so I've got some things cooking. We've got some concrete being mixed, but I'm out of copper right now, surprisingly, of all resources, to make more copper wire, which is what I need in order to make the electronics that we need to make the electric furnace. So we're going to just get all of this stuff emptied out here, and we're going to get on the road. So for those that remember, we found the cave to the Arctic, I think in the first episode of the series here. If I bring up the map here, it's right here in the G9 square, G8, G9 crossover here. And the one thing that I've learned my lesson the hard way on is make sure you don't have a normal canteen in your slot, because it does cool you down, and that's a bad thing in the Arctic. The fur armor that we've got equipped is just enough to keep us warm in the Arctic if we don't have any severe weather. And you can see here I've put some ramps down to make navigating in and out of this tunnel a little bit easier here on Moby. So I've done this run a handful of times. I've gone up and down the sides of this zone on the caves and found a lot of little caves. One thing I've noticed about the Prometheus map is there's a lot of smaller caves on the map compared to other maps that we've played on. And I'm really enjoying that. The one thing I will say, though, is it's been kind of disappointing that there's not more variety in the caves. A lot of the caves have been very similar to each other, but it is what it is. And we're going to go to one very large cave that I found on the other side of the canyon here. I'm just kind of working my way around this valley. A lot of times there's wolves, and I've even seen polar bears down inside of this cave network to our left here, cavern maybe I should call it. And we're going to cut all the way across the map here and find a particularly large cave that we were in earlier when I was exploring. And I realized it was such a large cave that I was like, maybe we should explore this one on camera. Now, as we head over here, and I'm trying to remember exactly where this cave was. I think it was somewhere along this wall in the H10 square. While I walk over there, one other thing that came out in the patch this last week that I wanted to talk about is the Icarus devs were making a big deal about having made some major improvements on the hitching issues or the terrain loading issues and the lag that happens as you're running across the map. And I will say, right after getting into the game, I was willing to say, oh yeah, this seems a lot better. But as you saw just there was a little bit of a lag as we moved into a new terrain tile and a bunch of stuff kind of loaded up. And I'll say that I feel like it's probably a little bit better, but it wasn't, oh my gosh, this is amazing better. It was just like, oh yeah, it seems like it's a little bit better. And so reading the blog post, I had really high hopes for it. And in practice, getting into the game here and running around, I'm like, it's a little better. And I mean, I have really amazing PC specs and hardware here. So to see this kind of loading lag happening with my level of hardware has been a little bit disappointing. I won't lie. But alas, improvement is improvement. So I'm going to just say it's a little bit better, but not amazing. If you were looking for it to be game changing and completely resolved and all of that, then not there yet. But with all of that aside, here is the giant cave that we found, and I have no idea if this is another tunnel cave or what it is, but look at the size of this entrance, and we've left our lamp on the whole way over here. This cave is quite large, but I know it's not a typical tunnel cave because there are cave worms in here, and there's ores and such in here as well. So we're gonna just move our way in here. I'm gonna get off of Buffy here. And I'm not going to pick up a lot of things. I don't need a lot of gold, believe it or not, right now. Knowing it's here, we can always come back and get it later, but you can see I've left all the gold. Silicon might be something that we want to pick up some. There's a frozen lake in here. This cave network is absolutely huge. And last time I was here, I ran out of fuel on my lantern, so we had to turn around before we could start exploring it. So normally I would leave my mount kind of back here towards the entrance, but given that I don't know what kind of cave this is, I think I'm going to actually have Buffy on follow, and we're going to work our way in here. There's a nice frozen lake here that we're going to start working our way across, and I'm just hoping to find some tungsten in here, or titanium somewhere in the cave here. I don't know if we will or not. The Arctic has had a little bit of titanium and a lot of platinum, a lot of gold, tons of gold here. But it does look like we have some titanium ore, which is what we've come up the shortest on as we've been doing all of our adventures. And I think we'll be heading up to the lava biome next. Like after this cave is done and we finish this quest off with the resources that we have, I think that's going to be our next stop, is to get into the other new biome that we have available to us. I'm going to have Buffy stay here. I'm going to hop up here and get this platinum. I forgot to bring my wooden ramps. I've only got a couple in my inventory right now because I used so many to make some bridges and stuff earlier. Luckily, there's not a ton of resources in this cave. It looks like there's a wall I'm going to be able to pick my way through here in a second. Oh, and of course we've got what looks to be some platinum up here. If I do this, can I jump up there from the side? All right, I made it. Yay, and we're not quite high enough. Boo. All right, I managed to get that after all, but what I'm nervous about is I think there's more ores up there, but maybe mining through this area, it'll circle back around. Who knows, but we had 10 ramps with us, and I ended up having to build some paths up and down that you saw earlier to get kind of in and out of some of these caves, and occasionally they would get left behind because you couldn't get back down there to pull them up with you and such. So I meant to grab a few more when we were back at base and starting the episode out there, and I just got so excited to get things started, forgot all about it. All right, Moby, let's go. We're gonna go in here. Oh, Moby, you're Buffy. Can't even get my own mount's names correct. Oh, there's a worm. All right. Is there just the one? Just the one. Now look at this. Oh, look at this. More platinum anyway. So I haven't had any trouble finding platinum ore out here in the Arctic biome. As you can see, there's 2 more nodes right here. It's the titanium that has been a struggle. There's like 1 titanium node per cave. And then I end up mining all of that out and heading back and covering multiple caves. And it's just been a long haul. We also did a lot of mining in the swamp biome and hit a bunch of those caves and got some platinum there and maybe like 1 titanium node. So I don't think titanium's super popular there. Now I'm just finding 2 titanium nodes right there side by side. So this cave has already been the best of all the caves that we've mined out of the Arctic, which is awesome. I'm super excited about our resources. So I'm going to go ahead and drop off some of this stone. I don't know that we're going to keep the stone long term, but I'm just trying to make some room in the inventory so I don't get overburdened. I'm going to leave Buffy back there in case I run into some crazy monsters or something. Don't need to lose out on our mount. Oh, more titanium. This cave is awesome. Some interesting lighting effects there. Titanium and platinum ore intermixed. This rock knew what I needed. And again, there's so much gold here. We can come back at a later point and pick up. Oh my goodness, look at all this titanium. We struggled for so long. So if anybody's looking for the jackpot in titanium, it's in this cave right here. I think it was right on the edge of this H10 block where we went in. And then, yeah, the cave itself seems to be an I-10, and there's tons of titanium back here, which would have made getting into Tier 4 a lot easier. But we're here now, and this is going to make life so much easier. We're going to have a repeating rifle by the time we get back to base with all this titanium getting mined up. All right, so with all of those ores mined out, I didn't see another path or anything where I thought I could mine through the wall. Although something tells me there's probably another hidden entrance somewhere. This cave has definitely won my interest from a uniqueness perspective. This has been a different cave than most of the other ones we've run our way through. So I'm just going to take a quick peek around on these walls, make sure I don't see anywhere else that I could find another passage to. I enjoyed this cave a lot more than most of the other ones, which felt very repetitive. So kudos to the devs for a more unique experience here. I guess it doesn't hurt. We could look around in this one. Oh, that's right. There's a space up above that we could get into that I don't have enough ramps for right now. So there's probably another area within this cave that we could get to, is kind of what I'm feeling. And so we might have to come back here at some point in the future. There's a lot of resources that I'm leaving in this cave just because I'm starting to get full, as you can see, from a weight perspective. I don't want to be encumbered in trying to make our way back across the Arctic here. So we're going to call today a win out here in the Arctic. We're going to make our way back to the base. And while I make my way back to the base, I do want to play a clip from my previous adventure that I did quote-unquote off camera. I did record a bit of the adventure that we did in the Arctic the first time around, and we came across a unique creature, something new that I hadn't seen yet in the Arctic. It's a new creature that they've introduced with the New Frontiers DLC, as far as I know. And so I'll show you a little mishap and why we're on to Buffy 3 now instead of Buffy 2, which I think we had at the end of last episode. So check this out while we head back to base. I really don't like that frozen effect on my visor, so I'm disoriented by having a little bit of ice all over it. It's kind of a cool effect the first time I saw it, but since then it's like, yeah, okay, I got it. I'm in a cold biome. Can we get rid of this off of my screen? Oh no, we fell down a long way here. How do you get back out of this? Okay, well, in this case, we're going to have to try and get creative with our ramps. This is not what I had in mind for today. And of course, there's a storm a-brewing. And I need to see if I can reset focus. I want to place it over here, but I can't. Okay. Moby, we're going to see how good you are at staying in one place when we get on these ramps. I've apparently run low on ramps. I started this adventure with 8, and now we're down to 3 total, it looks like. So we'll get there. We'll get there. All right. If I get up here, we do that. Can I sneak my way up here? Man, Moby can jump so high. Oh, come on. Oh, we almost made it. Okay, that was bad. But hey, we got a thing for killing the snow wolf. And there's something else coming, because I'm addicted to trying to loot stuff. What are you? Okay. That thing is horrifying. I don't want to be in the Arctic anymore. We're not ready. Figure as long as we're on our way back to the base and sort of in the area, we would stop by and pick up our iron here real quick. We've been trying to keep this thing running. I don't have a new fuel tank though, so I'll just leave that one going. And man, what did you guys think of the creature there in the Arctic biome? I was certainly not happy about that guy dropping in on us when we were already having a little bit of a kerfuffle in the cave there. But yeah, the Arctic, not polar bears, no longer the scariest thing that we have to worry about for sure. All right, we are back up at the base. We've got all of our stuff unloaded here. All of our materials are processing. Look at all of this lovely titanium and platinum ore in here getting built up. Can't wait. We are focusing on the copper first, though, just because we need that copper wire. We need to be able to make more electronics, which we're going to get started on. And hopefully we're going to get this thing cranked out here. Let's see. The only thing left is the 14 electronics and 3 more concrete mix. I did restart the concrete mixer. We should have plenty of concrete going. So yeah, there's just the electronics left to make now, which we are in flight on already. All right, I think I've got everything. Let's check. Dump these in here. We can now make the electric furnace. Not exactly everything we need, though, because that's going to take 2,500 power. And I don't know if I've got that much power just offhand yet. Let me see. Maybe if we disconnect this thing, because this also requires 2,500. This thing is humongous. I'm hoping I can move the bed over and we'll replace the concrete furnace with that. I'd love to keep the concrete furnace moving somewhere. I was hoping to finish the extension to our house here, but we just haven't had the time. Maybe if I pick up the bed, this thing will fit alongside. Oh, that'll actually fit. Man, I'd kind of like to have it over next to where I've got the power right now. Unfortunately, everything's kind of a mess. We'll just deal with it how it is. And I'm going to grab power from here, run it into there. This is going to say requires. I wonder if it's going to let me use it since the other one's not actually running. I know that's been a problem in the past where if you had all the machines hooked up, it would just kill the whole network. Let's see if this one will run. Yeah, it's only going to use it when it's actually doing something. That's super handy. So I'm going to start getting these composites cooking. As you can see, it's a 1-to-1 for the composite paste to the composites, so I've got plenty of this paste made up. We went all out with it, and we've got some other stuff in here, but I think that's the main tier 4 recipe. This one can make everything that we're making over there, but we might as well move, I think, our titanium and platinum processing. I'm going to move to the electric because I think it's going to do that a bit faster. And let's just be honest, it's taken a lot to process these ores. It's super slow in the normal furnace over there. So I think this is going to be just a little bit better. That's going to crank away. This is cranking away on more copper because despite everything, we need a lot more electronics to build all of these cool Tech 4 machines. Almost everything is requiring power these days. And before I forget, we've got to get this bed placed back down somewhere at least, because that's going to be a bad day if I don't have a spawn point. There we go. All right, I'm going to let this stuff cook up, and once we get the composites, we'll check back in and build that satellite. All right, I just put the materials in the bench. We've got everything for the encrypted satellite communicator. So let's get this thing cooking. 1 minute and 20 seconds, not too bad. And I just want to take a look here. The next thing I'm going to make for sure is going to be this hunting rifle. If I can get to 40 titanium ingots, that's a big ask. We've got all the other materials easily, though. So we'll see, But that is, for me, always what signifies we've officially made it to end game, is the revolver rifle or repeating rifle. That 6 shots really saves our bacon in some of those encounters, like we had in the Arctic. Oh, something's attacking the poor animals. Get attacked all the time here by these Dracs. Hey, knock it off. That's not bad. Buffy's got a lot of hit points, seems to do pretty good most of the time, so I'm not too worried about him. It's when he goes after the Mobies that we have a problem. But yeah, that's going to probably be next episode. Before we take on another mission, I really want to get our base into a better spot. I want to get us into having a wall of some kind, some better defenses. I'm just looking at how fast this electric furnace is going on the titanium by comparison to this thing. We're doing great. And our satellite should officially be done. Now, this required 1,500. What we might want to do is we'll build one more of these windmills real quick because they're easy. I need 3 more carbon fiber and some electronics. I'll grab that stuff real quick, and I'll show you guys how the windmills work because it has a unique mechanic. So we're going to build one of these wind turbines. They don't cost a lot. A little bit of aluminum, some electronics, a little bit of carbon fiber. It's a really easy build, in my opinion. Mid-tier, like more tier 3 materials than tier 4, really, which is great. And so I'm going to take this, we're going to toss that down in our bar, and we're going to head out here, and I will show you how placing this works. Now, you can see here as let me just see if I can get rid of that. As I get up here next to this and go to select it, you can see there's this ring around it. It's actually a little hard to see. But if you have something else within that ring is when you start to run into problems. And so they need to be placed away from other structures and away from each other as far as I could tell. When I placed them next to each other, I noticed that they weren't actually running. When I initially placed them down, I wasn't really thinking about it. And this has seemed to work out a lot better, spacing them out some, which is realistic and cool. But it does mean that you're going to need a little bit more ground for a, whatchamacallit, a wind farm. And I didn't get these hooked up. I'm trying to remember how to cancel the placement of a wire. There we go. I need to get that to actually connect to the hub here. There we go. And now we should have more power to the network. And more importantly, look at this thing. It's ginormous. Oh my goodness. Where am I going to set this up at? I don't want to go on the back side of the house. I don't have a door over there. I think we're going to try and set this down right here. I assume it's got to be outside. Oh my goodness. What is this monstrosity? There we go. And a mission is complete. Look at that. We got a giant power panel back here and everything. Oh, this thing is obnoxiously large. I love it. And it looks all modern and stuff. I wonder if this thing, like, could snap into a building. And this is, like, inside the room, I bet. I bet that's what it's meant to be done with it. We may have to rebuild the base and move this thing around. Can I pick it up? I can, yeah. That's going to be so cool. Okay, let's see if we can hook a wire up to this thing. It does run up under there. That's awesome. I'm going to see if I can get this wire to go under the house if at all possible. Something like that. And then how far can I bring it? Oh man, my steps are all damaged, so I can't do what I wanted to do, which was get it kind of over here. Hang on. So we're gonna pull that wire straight under the house like this, and then have that come and connect to the network. There we go. I like that a lot better. And now that it's all powered up, let me turn my quest log back on. It says mission complete. I think if I interact with this, maybe. Yeah, missions are now available. I really wish when I moused over this, at least, I would get the little pop-up with, like, how many skulls, difficulty, and all that stuff it was. We're not going to start this one just yet. I actually think we might come back and hit a couple of these other quests before we move into those, because I think they're going to be easier, potentially. I don't know. Or maybe we'll keep pushing down the storyline missions here. But, man, that animal, yeah, we're going to need to figure out how to get this thing into a room, because I don't like how it's just wide open to the world right now, the way it is. But either way, we've got it running. We've got the new wind turbines put in, and the base expansion is starting to come along. I'm digging it. I'm having a lot of fun with these new missions, and I think that it really makes open world feel a lot more, I don't know, interesting if compared to what it was before. So I don't think Icarus is quite to where I would like it to be, but it's definitely coming along pretty quickly, and I'm having a blast. So hopefully you guys are enjoying watching me play, and if you are, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. And we'll be back next episode with some base enhancements, and we'll probably jump into our next mission. That's all for today. Keturk out.